Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena, leader of the TNA, R. Sambandhan, leader of the National People's Power, Anurukumara Dissanayake, have also been invited to the meeting. At the talks, further attention will be focused on the proposal of promoting reconciliation, which was agreed by the party leaders at the previous meeting held on the 13th of December with the participation of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. It is expected to form an agreement between political party leaders in this regard. The Election Commission says the required financial provisions have been already granted for some activities pertaining to the local government polls.
A spokesman of the Commission said required funds will be granted according to the needs arisen in the coming days. The Election Commission has requested 800 million rupees for the current activities with regard to the polls. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has been informed to provide fuel required for the election duties without interruption. The Election Commission has also informed the Ceylon Electricity Board to provide uninterrupted power supply on the election date and the following days. Meanwhile, the Patriotic United National Party has lodged a complaint regarding a statement made by leader of NPP, Anurukumara Dissanayake, at an election meeting recently.
An armed gang has removed an ATM in a private bank in Gampula and taken away it this morning. The van used to transport the ATM was taken into police custody at Galaha Junction in Peradeniya this morning. The van has been hired from Aranayaka area in a pretext of going on a private trip. On the way to, the driver was blindfolded and dropped off with one member of the gang, and the van was taken away for the robbery. After the mission was over, the gang had handed over the van back to the driver. The driver is the one who had informed the police regarding the incident. According to the police, 4 members had committed this robbery. The gang had the security officer of the bank in a chair at gunpoint, and the ATM machine had been removed and taken away. According to the bank sources, over 7.6 million rupees were in the machine. Crime division officials conducted basic investigations with the help of police dogs and fingerprint officials. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduva said that the police are now conducting investigation in various aspects. Statements made by the driver, the relevant CCTV footage, information from eyewitnesses, a telephone conversation and statements of the bank security officer and many other matters are being thoroughly investigated. 5 police teams have been deployed for further investigations.
A report on the yellow paddy plant disease spreading in many parts of the island was handed over to Minister Mahinda Amaraveera yesterday by the Department of Agriculture. The report has been prepared according to a notice given to the agricultural officials regarding the existing disease in the paddy cultivation. The researchers have found out that lack of phosphorus and potassium nematoda roundworm disease, damages caused by brown flea and caterpillars and high saltiness in soil are the major causes for the disease. Another major cause, according to the report, is non-usage of Bandi fertilizer. Farmers had purchased only 10% of the entire need of the fertilizer, and the farmers had said that they bought less amounts due to high cost of the fertilizer at the market. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said that a cabinet paper will be submitted to further reduce the price of Bandi fertilizer as a relief to farmers. This may lead to increase the nutrient level in the paddy plants. Focusing attention on this matter, the Ministry of Agriculture submitted a paper to the cabinet. According to the report, only 2% of paddy cultivations have been affected by the roundworm disease. The farmers accused that their cultivations caught up with the roundworm disease due to application of substandard organic fertilizer.
The government has focused attention to reduce the price of Bandi fertilizer. A special attention was focused at the last cabinet meeting in this regard. Although the Ministry of Agriculture issued fertilizer for the Maha season, many farmers purchase fertilizer in small amounts. The Ministry of Agriculture says the relevant 2 fertilizer companies have not informed the government about this matter. As the price of Bandi fertilizer is higher, farmers are unable to purchase it. Therefore, the ministry has focused attention to reduce the price of Bandi fertilizer by a considerable level. A cabinet paper has already been prepared in this connection and will be discussed next week. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera made the comments at a discussion held last evening at the Department of Agriculture. The officials who took part in this meeting stressed that using bandy fertilizer is compulsory to raise the nutrition level of paddy cultivation. Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission Nimal Kulasiri says that daily power cuts will be suspended until the end of the GC advanced level examination.
This decision has been taken following a discussion held with the Public Utilities Commission and the other relevant parties. Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission Nimal Karunasiri said that the Public Utilities Commission and the Ceylon Electricity Board today signed a memorandum of understanding not to cut power until the 17th of February. Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle says India and Sri Lanka should mutually unite to advance in the journey towards the centenary of the independence for the prosperity of both countries.
He made these comments in a ceremony held at the BMICH in Colombo to mark the 74th Republic Day of India. The ceremony was held yesterday under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. A famous UDX music band in Nagaland and a heavy metal quintet Stigmata band in Sri Lanka joined together and performed a concert at the ceremony. Indian High Commissioner further stressed that Sri Lanka will celebrate its 75th independence anniversary in few days. Both countries should join close as friends to mark the Independence Day ceremonies of both countries. Ministers, state ministers, parliamentarians and many other guests were present at the occasion.
The government is targeted to increase the local production of pharmaceuticals up to 50% within the next few years. Sri Lanka now manufactures only about 20% of medicines of the entire demand. Minister Dr. Keheliya Rambukwala revealed these facts when he met German ambassador in Sri Lanka, Holger Serbert, at his ministry. The minister further said that Germany has agreed to grant support to the relevant investors, manufacturers and industrialists in the medicine production sector. 12 investors have already come forward to invest in new projects in the island. Sri Lanka expects to enter into agreements with pharmaceutical suppliers, including Germany. In the meantime, the Russian embassy in Sri Lanka has launched a program to introduce Russian language to all national schools. The chief guest of the event was Ambassador Livan Skariam. Addressing the gathering, Ambassador said that Sri Lanka, as a close friend of Russia, should further popularize Russian language in the island. Russian language is currently taught in about 20 schools. The first secretary of the Russian embassy, Maria Popova, expressed her gratitude to the Sri Lankan teachers who teach Russian language to Sri Lankan students. The Russian language teachers were felicitated with presents. The only dwarf elephant is reported from Sri Lanka. The elephant is unusually short due to a deform of genetics. According to wildlife information, the dwarf elephant lives in Udawalawa National Park. The wildlife officials has not yet focused due attention for the protection of this rare animal. Elephants are inherited in Sri Lanka and recognized in a scientific name as Elephas maximus maximus. Sri Lankan elephants are considered as a subspecies of Asian giant elephants. A fully grown male is about 7 to 9 feet in height. The single dwarf elephant is only about 4 feet in height. The creature was subjected to a genetic deformity called disproportionate dwarfism. Although this elephant is peculiar in shape, it belongs to the common variety of elephants. This elephant was first seen by a team of researchers in 2013 at the Buruthagolla tank area in Udawalawa. According to the TV footage taken by CCTV cameras, this creature usually roams in the Udawalawa National Park from March to July every year. The rest of the year, the elephant lives out of the park, especially in surrounding shrub jungles. Elephant researcher Samira Veeratunga has noticed this elephant in the naked eye last year for the last time. This elephant is so vulnerable to the hunters and encroachers who had settled many traps and snares at times using explosives. Animal researchers say that such rare animals must be protected with special care and attention. They can be used to popularize wildlife and ecotourism in Sri Lanka. That's it on local news. We'll be back with news overseas. Do stay tuned in.
பிள்ளைகள் படிக்க செல்லும் முதல் நாளிலே முதல் பாடமாக சேமிப்பதை சொல்லிக் கொடுங்கள். சிசோதான கணக்கினை மக்கள் வங்கியுடன் ஆரம்பியுங்கள். அதிக வட்டி, அதிக பரிசுகள், அதிக சலுகைகள்.
Not foreign news. At least 124 people have died in freezing temperatures in Afghanistan in the past fortnight.
And that's what Taliban officials say, and about 70,000 livestock had also perished in what is the coldest winter in a decade. Many aid agencies suspended operations in recent weeks after the Taliban banned Afghan women from working for non-governmental organizations. A Taliban minister said despite the deaths, the edict would not be changed. Acting Minister of Disaster Management Mullah Muhammad Abbas Akund told that many areas of Afghanistan were now completely cut off by snow. Military helicopters had been sent to the rescue, but they couldn't land in the most mountainous regions. The acting minister said the forecast for the next 10 days indicated temperatures would warm. But he was still worried about a rising death toll of Afghans and their livestock. Winters are always harsh here in Afghanistan, but this is the worst weather in a decade. And this year's relief operations are hampered by last month's Taliban government edict barring Afghan women from working in aid agencies. Chris Hipkins has been sworn in as New Zealand's 41st Prime Minister.
The 44-year-old was formally appointed to the role in Wellington a week after Jacinda Ardern's shock resignation. Jacinda Ardern, 42, had said she no longer had enough in the tank to lead the country. Hipkins built a reputation as the minister who led New Zealand's COVID-19 strategy. At the ruling Labour Party's caucus over the weekend, Hipkins received unanimous support to be promoted to lead the country and now faces the uphill task of retaining power in the upcoming general elections in October. Opinion polls have suggested that his party is trailing in the Conservative opposition, the National Party, in popularity. The country of 5 million was among the first to close borders. This move won polls for keeping New Zealand virus-free early in the pandemic, but frustration set in later among Kiwis tired of the zero-tolerance strategy, which saw nationwide lockdowns over the single infection. Hipkins previously conceded that strict lockdowns should have been scaled back earlier.
This is the biggest privilege and responsibility of my life.
After months of reluctance, the US and Germany reportedly plan to send tanks to Ukraine in what Kyiv hopes will be a game changer on the battlefield. US President Joe Biden's administration is expected to announce plans to send at least 30 M1 Abrams tanks. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has also reportedly decided to send at least 14 Leopard 2 tanks. He is set to speak in Parliament today. Russia's ambassador to the US said the news was another blatant provocation, and the Kremlin spokesman said Germany's reported decision would bring nothing good and leave a lasting mark on relations with Russia. Ukrainian officials say they are urgently in need of heavier weapons and say sufficient battle tanks could help Kyiv's forces seize back territory from the Russians. But until now, the US and Germany have resisted internal and external pressure to send their tanks to Ukraine. Washington has cited the extensive training and maintenance required for the high-tech Abrams. Germans have endured months of painful political debate amid concerns that sending tanks would escalate the conflict and make NATO a direct party to the war with Russia.
The United Nations and the government of Haiti reiterated their appeal yesterday for an international force to quickly deploy to the island nation to help subdue an unprecedented level of gang violence that has terrorized the population. The United Nations top officials in Haiti, Helen de Lime, told UN Security Council that dozens of women and children young as 10 years old have been brutally raped as a tactic to spread the fear and destroy the social fabric of communities under the control of rival gangs. She further said that gangs have increasingly resorted to deliberate killings of men, women and children with snipers positioned on rooftops. She said two coalitions of gangs, the G9 coalition and GPEP, have caused unprecedented levels of violence as they fight over the turf in the capitals of large slums, cited Soeli. The gang reportedly controlled about 60% of Port-au-Prince in early October. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres backed the request from Haitian government to send international specialized armed forces to the Caribbean island to address the spiraling insecurity and deepening humanitarian crisis. Meanwhile, Haitian people continue to suffer with killings and kidnappings rising and armed gangs blocking access to food, water and health services. Classified files have been found in the United States, in the Mike Pence's home, in the latest discovery of papers at a home of officials who have served in the top ranks of government.
The documents discovered by a lawyer last week for Pence at his Indiana home have been handed over to the Federal Bureau.
A representative for the former VP says that on January 16th, Pence asked lawyers to review records that were stored from his home. That's reported a small number of documents that could potentially contain sensitive or classified information. Letter states Vice President Bush immediately
Prima, cut to me, Fantamai!
Now on to sports news. Currently, the Under-19 Cricket T20 World Cup for the women's teams are progressing in South Africa. The hosts won a nail-biting victory against the Sri Lankans last night.
the DOJ is already using special
Batting first, South Africa scored 134 runs with the loss of 7 wickets in the allotted 20 overs. Chasing a victory target of 135, Sri Lanka could only score 133 runs. The Sri Lanka pool to select players for the Sri Lanka A team has been named at present. 22 players are included in the pool. Sri Lanka A team will play 3 ODIs and 2 4-day test matches with visiting England Lions team. The tournament will begin on the 31st of this month. Captain of the unofficial test matches is Nipun Dhananjaya and Kamida Mendes will be the ODI captain. India won the 3-match ODI series against New Zealand 3-0 when the third and final match was played yesterday in Indore. Batting first, India scored 385 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in their 50 overs. Captain Rohit Sharma and opener Shubman Gill both scored centuries. In bowling, Jacob Duffy and Blair Ticknell claimed 3 wickets each. New Zealand could only score 295 runs. Devon Conway 138. Bowling Shardul Thakur and Kuldeep Yadav claimed 3 wickets each. Man of the match is Shardul Thakur. Man of the series, Shubman Gill.
Prima, cut to me, Fantamai!
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.